Hello, America. So this is the bottom of your Pentastar 3.2 or 3.6, and basically that's your bypass valve. So what happens when you start your car up? Um, you have a 2-speed pump, and one's high pressure, one's low pressure. So when you start it up, it's high pressure. It pushes oil up against this, like 90 pounds or something like that, and then it bypasses your filter. That's why it's called a bypass filter. Everybody thinks it's only when it's clogged, but when it's cold, that oil will not flow through that filter, or nor will it flow very good at 90 pounds. So the oil has to warm up a little bit. So, and that's when it's warmer, then the oil pressure drops on a Pentastar. So the problem is this: the oil is unfiltered while it's circulating, and if you keep letting your car go over 3,000 miles, even with synthetic oil, it will sludge. And the system in the 2.7 liter years ago, not too long ago, was just terrible, and that would sludge up easy. And if people abused their oil by not changing it, then that car would sludge up totally. And it had a bypass filter, of course, too, and into the oil filter. So it's not just canister filters; it's these here element ones also. But so people, when you start up your car, your oil is not filtered, probably for maybe 5 to 10 minutes until the car's warm, and then your oil pressure drops. If you have a dash like I do in my 15, it'll tell you, if you wanted to, what your oil pressure is. When it drops down to about 40, 45, then that's the lower. If it's at 90 when you first start it, well, that's the high setting. So if your oil is chronically dirty, full of soot, dark, black, remember, most wear particles are not picked up by your filter. Most filters, 23 and above, 23 nanometers, or 23, no, I can't remember the size. So anyway, micrometers or whatever, it's very small amount. So filters, you can't have, you have to have full flow, so you can't, microns, 23 microns. Some are 30. So you can't have it down to 2 microns like an AMSOIL bypass filter, because you would get no flow to your motor. So people, when you start your car up, doesn't matter what kind of car, they're all like this now, your oil's unfiltered. So you're putting all that trashy crap oil from down in your oil pan that maybe has up to 10,000 or more miles on it, and you're circulating that through your motor. And if you keep doing that repetitively, any mechanic knows that oil is going to be deposited all over your motor, and it's going to make it last less. So I change my oil every 1,000 miles. I know it's a little excessive, but I buy platinum, ultra platinum Pennzoil, the good oil that goes in the Hellcat, and I use 1030 in it. I use 1060 in it. And I know everybody says, oh, your gas mileage is going to suck. It doesn't suck. I still get over 30 miles per gallon on the highway, 35 sometimes. I do live where it's very warm all the time, I'll tell you that, and it's relatively flat. No, it's not Texas, but I'd like to move there. Liberal gun laws. Anyway, but people, you need to realize this is why mechanics change their oil. They know about all this. Why are not all the Chrysler mechanics like, the guy, what's his name, the black dude in Atlanta, online mechanic tips or something like that? Why doesn't he talk about this? He knows about it, most likely. They just don't want you to know. It's so sad. And, they tell you to stay with 520 oil. That's a bunch of crap. Now, it's cold outside. Then you better have a low first number, maybe even 0. You can use 0 instead of a 5. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's cold out, put that in there. The top number is what's crucial. That number is only relative when it's warm. So what's the difference if it's 20 or 30? Minimally. Online mechanic, JT just said that in a video. I just watched him. So I use 1060 in mine. It's supercar oil. It's for like Lamborghinis. I do it because I figure, they say, oh, tight tolerances. What the hell has got a tighter tolerance than a fucking, $2 or $3 million Lamborghini. Excuse me. I mean, do you get it? We're being lied to. These are all these stupid Democrats in CARB and the EPA and the car companies, because they're buying green credits from Honda and Toyota. You know all about that dirt, right? Yeah, they're not telling you all that stuff. They're buying gas credits, because carbon credits, and we're being lied to, and extending our oil change intervals. What a bunch of crap! Any good mechanic knows 3,000 miles, dump that oil. Me, I go by my car. I do have a meter. It tells me when to change it, but I don't go by it. I feel if I went to 30% used up down to 70%, I'd feel terrible. I usually try to change it around 10%. Like 1,000 miles, I try to change it because I drive all local miles. And remember, local miles, city miles, are 10 times more than highway miles. So it's, people, you're not thinking right. And you're just being cheap. You're spending 40,000, 50,000 on cars or more. And yet you're cheaping out on the oil. And it's just wrecking the motors. I mean, you think you're doing okay, but motors that could last 600,000 miles are only lasting 200,000 miles. So it's up to you. Do what you want. But all the mechanics I know, and they're all ASC certified, they all change their oil every 3,000 miles. They have for years because the oil gets dirty. Now, I have an AMSOIL bypass filter on mine, and I'm going to try to change the world with that. It clarifies the oil, takes out everything down to 2 microns, and still allows the flow. But I'm trying to get a simpler way to do it. Mine was sort of complex because I had to go down to the oil cooler, so I'm trying to figure out a different way to do it, maybe through an oil port. But no one wants to talk about that because they know what I'm going to do with it, and they know I'm going to make Chrysler look bad in FCA. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and there's another video that's similar, but I just wanted to have you guys fully understand this oil is being bypassed. It's receiving no filtration when you first start up the car, okay? And if you watch when your oil pressure drops, that's when that valve closes, and then you're getting flow to your filter, okay? And that's why I recommend this thing. That the first time I changed oil in my car, I broke that thing off because I had no instruction. I didn't watch a video how to change my oil, and the oil filter that was on there was awfully stuck. I mean, it was stuck. I couldn't get the damn thing off. So I torqued on it a little bit, broke the thing. So then I had to buy one at the Dodge garage. It was about $13 or $14. And buy genuine Mopar caps. You can get them cheap. You can buy them on Amazon for about $18. This is 13 plus shipping. They just say it's $18. But why would you trust a Chinese-made cap to a $6,000-$7,000 motor? You shouldn't. So people buy Mopar parts, even Mopar water pumps and all that, oil pumps, because they're designed to last, and hopefully they do. And I got like 95,000 on my car, and dang, I don't know, I've not had any problems. I've changed the plugs, and I've yet to do a lot of stuff. I got it all. I got the thermostats and all that, but it just hasn't broke. I've changed the serpentine belt, which wasn't necessary. I still got the original Mopar, and it was good at 85,000. It had no cracks, but I had a brand new gate, so I put that on there. And I did have a bad idler, and it's in one of my videos. When you're changing serpentine belts, make sure you check all your pulleys on your air conditioner and your water pump and all that, and your harmonic balancer. Make sure everything's tight. And I rattled my idler pulley, and sure enough, that sucker was loose. And it hadn't been causing too much noise, just minimally. Not many people but myself could notice it, but I did. And so I changed it, and boy, that car just runs like a top now. So anyway, and no lifter problems, no rocker arm problems, and but I changed the hell out of the oil, and I use good oil filters, K&N, which they collapse a little bit. I don't know why. I use a lot of Mopars, which are made by Champ. I wouldn't say they're the best oil filter. Probably pretty close to the bottom. Right there with Fram, and then I do use some Tough Guard Fram the ones for synthetic oil. I use a few of those. I get them for $2 at Walmart.com. They say they're just for oil changes there, but they'll deliver them to your house. And you'll order the cheap one, but they'll give you the Tough Guard, the better one. I don't know, free of charge upgrade. It's like a $3 upgrade. And I've got hundreds of them because I change so many people's oil. And I buy them cheap and give them to them cheap. So I try to help them out. A lot of single moms and stuff like that. But anyway, now you know the rest of the story about this oil cap. I'd replace the oil cap every 30,000 miles. It's just good insurance because that thing screws up. Your oil's not going to get filtered.